Hi.
Good to see you,
Look at
Ariel.
you.
You look great, honey. You look great. You're
You
great.
guys look great. Love those
Well,
glasses.
we had to
Look
touch
at those
up
glasses.
before this.
We had our makeup.
We had to have our makeup people here before we go on video.
You got them to
So,
Saudi Arabia and
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, before we even get started, how are you guys? Oh my gosh.
Well, we're pretty good. We're good. We're actually, oh my God, where did the cat come from
It's a
suddenly?
baby.
Is that a baby crying? Okay, I can't tell the
Oh.
cats from the babies. No, all of a sudden there's a baby crying in the background. There are a lot of babies here. No, we're actually, there's a baby screaming here. We have to check on it.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I
we have to
mean,
take
you want to
that.
make sure the baby's okay. That's a good idea.
We have a lot of babies around us.
Okay, so let's get started. And I want to
Okay.
hear about your love story. So tell me from the beginning, how did this happen?
Well, it's all right. I'll start with, we were in school at Bristol Community College. It was 1974. It was in the winter. It was like January, the beginning of the next semester, and maybe into February. And I was in the dental hygiene clinic. And when they always say, no good deed goes unpunished. Well, that day I decided to stay late and oil the handpieces for someone. I volunteered to do it. So that's how I met my husband, because I did that. I volunteered to do the oil pieces, and the machine was up by a long window. And I was standing in front of the window doing my thing, looking out the window. Nothing in my mind. I mean, usually it's pretty blank, so I wasn't thinking about anything. And he walked by the window, and I hadn't seen him on campus before. He walked by, and he looked different than the other guys. He had like a man bag, and he had on a leather jacket, and I was like, "Arr!" And then his butt looked really great in his jeans. I have to say that. So I was looking at him, and he turned around right at that moment, and he looked at me, and he came over to the window, and we were like laughing through the window because he was saying that he was sick. Was I a nurse? Back in the day in 1974, we wore those little white uniforms with the white cap. So we looked like nurses.
Oh, I thought it was.
So
hot.
we looked so.
I was gonna say,
really
you
cute.
must have been like,
cute.
oh, Mark,
I
it's
look
like
cute.
to Denise. Ooh.
Well, those hats always made our hair look better.
She looked so cute, and I walked by the window. I think it was coming from the cafeteria.
Well, you were always in the cap.
Yeah, I
wasn't in the classroom.
It was college. I was smoking, and we were partying. That was that kind of era.
Yeah.
But
What was the 70s? I mean,
Yeah, 70s. Yeah.
yeah.
And when I came out and I went past the window, I did see her, and I said, oh my God, she's adorable. Like,
Yeah, who's this hot nurse, but not really a nurse, a
yeah.
dental hygienist? Yeah.
No, that's right. You make a good point, because I didn't know the difference back then, and I didn't even know what she was doing there. She had that white uniform on. She looked over, and I looked back at her, and you know how one of those times when you connect, you get a look, and you look at somebody, and we connected. And so I went over to the window, and I kissed the window, I think.
Yes, he put he stuck his lips. Mark had really big, thick lips, and he went over to the window after we were doing like some kind of sign language. And then he said to me, you and me, like together. And I was like, no, I don't know. And believe me, I had nothing going on in my head at the moment, but he put his lips up to the window. He said, kiss me. And I said, oh no, he's acting all shy and everything. Anyway, I told him, go around to the clinic and come in the clinic. So the next thing I know, Mark is in the clinic, and he's pointing to me. He's talking to the receptionist. And she said, anyway, I had to finish what I was doing because one of my instructors was still in the clinic. Anyway, I kept doing what I was doing. And Mark made an appointment to come in the next day, and I was going to clean his teeth. He was going to be my patient. But unfortunately, the next day,
I didn't know any of this was going on, Ariel. I didn't know in the nursing program that they needed people to work.
Yeah, they needed patients.
Work. I didn't know. I walked around the building, and then they said, yeah, you want to make an appointment? And I was looking for Dee, and I think you came over and you said, yeah, you can make an appointment for me tomorrow or something. And I went, okay. And
I had an opening.
This, I have to say, is like one of like the sexiest like love story startup. Whoa, forward.
Well, Ariel, it was that day. It was very exciting that day. And because we talk about it all the time. And he came in the next day for his appointment because I had on a brand new uniform, blah, 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 made up and everything. And he came in and my radiology teacher grabbed me and she said I needed to work on my radiographs and that I couldn't work on a patient. And I went, oh Lord. So I gave him I gave him to like the crazy one in the class. I gave him to like this nut job. Okay. And anyway,
I didn't know that. She just worked on my teeth. And
well, she cleaned your teeth.
She cleaned my teeth, and I didn't know that. But I was a little curious why Dee didn't work on me. But she was playing hard to get.
No, I went over and I told him, I said, Mark, I can't work on you because I have to do x-rays. He didn't know how badly I was flunking the x-ray department. Anyway, I said to him, but this girl is going to clean your teeth. And anyway, she cleaned his teeth.
I was thinking to myself, why am I here if you're not going to clean my teeth?
Yeah, but as it turned out,
I needed him.
As it turned out, he's a heavy smoker, 2 packs a day. He needed to have his teeth cleaned. She came over to me afterwards. She goes, oh, he was asking about you and everything. And I said, well, how are his teeth? And she said, oh, he smokes. So he had a lot of stain and he has to come back. So then I got him on the second appointment and I finished his teeth. And
so Ariel, but where the real connection was made, that was the initial one. And that was,
I mean, that was a pretty real connection right there.
That was a real connection.
I mean, you have some game there, Mark, like going up to the window with the kiss and
I don't know if I had game.
A little bit of a player, like a little swagger.
Well, I was in college. I thought I was all that and everything, but when I was in the cafeteria, I'm thinking it's a few days later.
oh yeah.
I was in the cafeteria and I was goofing off as usual, not in my class like I was supposed to be. And Dee came in. She was in the cafeteria and I saw her. And I think I went to buy cigarettes. I was smoking Salem's or something at the time. And Dee came up. And now this is the first time I'm actually having a conversation with her. And I'm chill, I'm pretty cool, but she was witty and fast in the conversation.
Those were the days.
Yeah, she was funny and witty. And I remember I pulled the wrong cigarette thing.
Yeah.
I pulled the wrong. She had me so laughing and disjointed that I remember I pulled the wrong cigarettes and I got the wrong cigarettes and I was like, oh geez, I did this. So anyway, I got those, but boy, that was, if there was ever a better second meeting, boy, that sealed the deal right there.
Right over the cigarette machine.
I said, this girl.
Wow. Really cut you off guard.
Yeah.
When did you said you were going to say when the real connection happened? Was that when the real connection happened?
Yeah, there was a connection at the cigarette machine.
Cigarette machine.
Yeah, there was, believe it or not. It was right at that machine in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I would say that kind of a little bit more sealed the deal there. The initial, how first time you meet somebody, you have a connection, but I barely talked to her that time. That was just to get my teeth done. But in the cafeteria, she was talking to me and I was one-on-one. I went from, man, she's cute to this girl is definitely got it going on, man. I got
some spice to her. Yeah.
I know who this girl is because it was like fishing. The bait was out there, but now I was hooked.
So anyway, after that, we went out on a date that Friday night, Thursday night, because I used to go home on Fridays. We went out on a date on the Thursday night. He picked me up. We went out on a date and he was taking me to the Cat Stevens concert in Providence.
Yeah.
He didn't have tickets, but anyway, we drove down to Providence.
I did, but I just figured that I could get him when I went.
He got me in the car. Anyway.
Wow.
I went down. We got to the thing. He did try to get tickets. He went up to the thing. I don't even know what you call it anymore because it's been so long since we've been
the ticket
to the ticket counter since we've been out. Okay. So he went up, he came back, he said, we can't. I didn't care at that point. I just having so much fun with him.
They said to me, you're kidding. I mean, this thing has been sold out for months. I went, oh boy.
It didn't matter. We had a great time. We drove around Newport. We went everywhere. And that night, I thought I'm too loud here because the people next door can hear. Okay. And then that night, I really had a great time with Mark. And one thing he did that night that he still does to this day, he has not changed. Mark eats very late at night, like 10:30.
Yeah.
He actually will eat a meal before he hits the pillow, and he still does it.
Yeah.
So that night it was around 10:30, 11. We were heading back to Fall River, and
The doghouse.
he had to go to the doghouse in New Bedford. So we had to drive to New
Yeah.
Bedford. And he said, let's get some burgers and that. And I was like,
Ariel,
We-
I can taste that chicken sandwich
chicken,
right now. Oh,
yeah, he got
I
chicken,
can-
yeah,
it was
chicken sandwich.
So delicious.
I just couldn't get over it because we had gone out to eat.
Dee's
We
over
had
there
just eaten.
starving, and she's the same exact way that she was then.
I
You
don't
know,
eat at night.
exactly the same. She goes like this. Oh no, she goes, oh no, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Well, let me have a bite.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
He'll just eat, stuffs his face. He gobbles down like a couple of
That's
Diet
why I got
Cokes.
diabetes.
Diet Cokes now. And he goes to bed. He's like, oh, all set for bed. And so
Okay.
he still does
So
that.
go back to the story.
Back
Okay.
to the story.
So
That night, so we had a good time.
we got together. The rest is
We
you know,
always
we
together.
were really having a good time together.
Yeah.
I mean, with college, you know, we were lusting over each other. It had all the chemistry that goes with
Mhm.
it, and everything was great. But I
Mhm.
was thinking, like, toward the end, that I wanted to get married, and
But
you
wait,
know,
towards the end of college or
Yeah,
towards?
Well,
okay.
She was
I
leaving.
graduated.
she graduated.
I graduated. I got a job. Mark was still visiting me. I was working. And I really was a kind of a, and I still am. There's not too much up here. I'm not talking about brains. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
I'm talking about deep thoughts and my future. And
Yeah, I know.
I don't think about that.
She's not.
And I didn't think about it then. And I was thinking, I have a job. And my main thing was I wanted to buy a car and I wanted to get my own apartment. Like marriage
She
or
wanted to
getting
live in-
married was the furthest thing from my
She was
mind.
always talking about living by herself up in
Yeah,
Boston,
living by
having her own
myself.
apartment.
In my own car.
And I kind of got
Yeah.
that, but I thought maybe we could do that together kind of thing. But anyway, what happened, Ariel, was she left the school and we stayed in touch. I used to drive up to Boston all the time,
Mhm.
and just distance or whatever, it took its toll
Yeah.
over time. And I would say about 6 or 8 months.
About
later.
8 months later, we broke up.
Mhm.
And I have to
I
tell
never, I
you,
never thought we actually broke
we
up.
kind of just didn't want to see each other anymore. And I have to tell you, I didn't put any thought into it, neither did he. I just wanted, look, to buy a car, to get
No,
my own
No,
apartment.
she's wrong about that.
Well, I
did-
am- oh,
I
okay.
always thought about it. I always thought about
Yeah,
it.
he did. He did. And I'm not saying I didn't think about Mark. I loved him. I loved him. But I'm not into this day. I'm not a deep person. So I wasn't
Well,
thinking about, I want my future with
Yeah,
him. I can have kids. I was thinking, all right, I have to get again,
Well, it
get
sounds
my
like
own
there's,
I
car,
gotta get some insurance.
get some health insurance, and I need to get my own apartment. And then I want to like go out. I want to date. I hadn't really dated a lot of guys before Mark. Like it was very, very little interaction with men. So I wanted
You
to,
had brothers.
well, if you want to call that an love interaction, but I just wanted to get out there, and
Okay, so she goes out
I
there.
did that.
I just want to keep it rolling.
But there was no
Then
thought
she-
process
She
to the
goes out there
breakup.
and she does all those things.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I meet somebody and we hit it off. It's hard to explain
Mhm.
to you, Ariel, but there was a lot of lust involved.
Mhm.
And not a lot of substance involved. But I was at that age when, like I said, I was thinking of getting married, or because I was thinking, okay, finishing school, that's a whole other story that never happens. But I was thinking of that and going to work, making money, starting my career. So I was thinking, good time to get married. I've been to Vietnam. I felt like at my age, I had run the course, if you will. Now it's time to settle down, get down to business, get to work. So anyway, I ended up, long story short, I ended up marrying another woman, that I met at school after Dee. And
Another BCC alumni also.
yeah. And it wasn't too long later, maybe a couple of years later, we got married. And that lasted about, I'll go over that one quickly, in that I dated quite a bit. I had dated a lot. And I was like Dee in the dating scene. One thing about Dee and I that's similar is I would go out pretty much with anybody. If I
Right
met
here.
you at a party
Yeah,
and we were
right.
talking and everything,
Right.
I give you a call the next day. We go out a few times, and
Yeah.
if it clicked, it clicked, and if it didn't, it didn't. But it's not. I see it a little bit different today. I see totally all these things that
They have to
people-
have standards
and they got
need,
all kinds of things. But Dee and I were
We
never-
dated whoever.
Yeah, we
Whoever asked
dated-
us out.
We were interested.
If
in
I
other
had a
people.
few laughs with anybody, I would go out with them.
Yeah,
I
me too.
wasn't, it's not that we were fussy. It was just that I wanted to have
Me
a good
too. I
time.
wanted
Yeah.
to
Wanted
meet
to go
other
out.
people
I
and see
wanted to
what
go
they
out.
were about.
I
You didn't
wasn't
take things too seriously.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
go into what
No.
matched, or, you know, what they were doing for an occupation. None of
Anyway, I
that.
was just trying to
None of
work
that.
up to
No.
why I settled down. I wasn't, I couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
really tell you why I settled down, but anyway, I did. And I met this girl, and it would be hard to say it was love because there was an attraction, a serious attraction.
I was attracted to her. No, I'm
But
only
to
kidding.
say.
She was
yeah,
very sexy.
Yeah,
Debbie, she was very sexy.
yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was. I met her, she was. Yeah.
And-
I could see the attraction Mark had for her.
But you know,
Yeah.
it was like one of those
Yeah.
things that I had the attraction for, but a lot of other men did. When she would go out or something, a lot of men were attracted to her. Long story short, 3-4 years later, she's having an affair with another guy. I'm the last to know about it. I go through that whole thing with your wife is cheating on you and all this, and it was really a punch in the
Hard
face.
thing.
It was really a blow to my pride and everything. But anyway, I got through it, and she was in love with the guy, and so that made it easy for me in the divorce because she was pretty much giving me just whatever I wanted, and that was it. So we had a divorce. We didn't have anything. So we had only been together 3 years. We were both working, and we didn't have a lot. So I had to preface everything by telling you that. So I'm out there dating again. I'm a little bit mad at women in general.
Of course, very
yeah.
understandably. Mhm.
And so I don't know what the expression would be. I'll keep it clean.
Revenge.
But
No,
I
whatever.
was out there just with everybody. I was just, if I met you, I try to sleep with you, every one of them. And I was doing this, and I was doing a lot of that actually, because I was like trying to cope for the bad divorce and everything. So anyway, I'm at a party. I see a guy named Danny. Danny, what was his name?
No, we met, how that happened was Mark and I
Dee and
had
Mark.
met, Mark and I had met
Oh yeah.
while he was married
Yeah. Well, I
to
was
Debbie.
married.
While he was married to Debbie, I was actually at a wedding.
At a party. Yeah.
At a wedding. He was at it just weird. He was at the wedding
Yeah.
with his wife. He was at the wedding with his wife. Never expected him to be there. So if you're going to meet an ex, the wedding is a good
I was
place
so happy
because
to
you're
see
dressed
Dee,
up
though.
and you have makeup on. And
Oh,
all
I'm
that.
so
Yeah.
happy
You
to
look
see
good.
Dee. Oh,
I
yeah,
was-
she looked
I was
great.
happy to see him, and you know what? I saw him and I went, "Oh, he's really matured very, very nicely." When I saw him, and I had had a few years of dating losers and whatever. Anyway, I was like, "Oh, look, he's married now." Oh, I felt like I threw the big fish back in. That's how I felt that day. But anyway, I met his wife, and I liked her a lot when I met her. I was chatting it up with her and everything. I liked her. Anyway, I met Mark. Then I said goodbye to him, and I felt very badly after the wedding. I felt like, oh, did I do the right thing with him? I mean, we seem to click so well. I don't have that connection with anybody else.
Yeah.
But now he's married. Okay, so
No,
he's
I
going to
would-
go off.
Ariel, I was thinking the same thing. My wife actually said at the time, Debbie, she actually said, "Oh, I saw the person you always talk about, Dee, at the wedding," because I brought Dee up a lot in our marriage. I just did. I didn't know I was doing that, but when she pointed it out, I realized I was.
She
doing
did.
it.
His wife mentioned it to me when I met her. She said, "Oh my God, I've been dying to meet you because he talks about you all the time." And I said, "Well, why?" Because first of all, I hadn't seen Mark in a couple of years. I mentioned him. Oh, so she said to me, "Mark has mentioned you. Like every time we are in Fall River and we drive by High Street, he always says, 'Dee used to live on High Street. Dee used to live on a house on High Street.'" And I said to him, "Well, I just want to let you know, he's never contacted me." I said, okay, so I said to her, Debbie, listen, he's never contacted me. There's no connection. When we left each other that day, that was the last time I saw him. This is the first time I'm seeing him in these years. I told her, I said, that's just how Mark is. That's how he is. He gets excited about people. And I mean, he's like that now. He's like that today.
Anyway, I was at a party. I want to keep it on going.
Yeah.
I know. I like it, Mark. You keep us on track. It's great.
Yeah. I was at a party, and the person I met at the party said to me, "Hey, Mark, it's surprising to see you." I said, "Really? It's nice to see you too." He goes, "It's the funniest thing." He said, "You know who I saw the other day?" I said, "Who?" He goes, "Dee." I went, "Dee?" I remember saying these exact words. "She must be married and have 5 children." He goes, "No, I don't think so. I don't think so." I said, "Really?" So that made me realize that Dee might be still available, or I didn't know, but I was expecting she'd been married and had children. I really did. I thought she had moved on, but she was still partying. She hadn't, and she was still partying.
I hadn't moved on.
So what happened, Ariel, was somehow I got her phone number. I probably already had it.
Yeah, you did.
I looked it up and I called her. And where were you? You were in Florida.
No, I was home. I was home. No, I was back home.
Okay.
Yeah, I was back home.
What year was this? What year was this?
I was in Florida the week before. Oh, okay. This was in 1980. It was, no, 19. It was January of 1981. I had just gone to Florida for a couple of weeks. I went for Christmas. I was with my parents and my sister. I'd gone to Florida. I had just come back, and my brother told me while I was in Florida that he had called the house. And then I said, I didn't think anything of it because I was seeing someone else. And the other, seriously seeing someone else. And by the way, the person I was seeing, the reason I went to Florida was because that person was cheating on me, but told me to my face that he was cheating on me.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it made it like, he felt like it was okay because he told me before that he was cheating on me. He like told me up front that I am going to cheat.
That's a confident guy.
Hey, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I have to give it to him.
I'm cheating on you, but you'll still be around.
No, he went into work. He actually went into my workplace and called me out and told me, I'm meeting this model from London, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he said, and I said, oh, is she staying at your apartment? And he said, yeah. So anyway, he said, but I'm telling you up front anyway. It's not like I'm doing it behind your back. So he thought it was okay to do that as long as he let me know he was doing it. So I got so upset the next day, I left for Florida. My parents were going on to Florida. And I went to Florida and I was there for a couple of weeks.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with the love story.
Well, you called while I was in Florida. And then when my brother said that he had called, I went, oh, I just don't want to see any guys. I don't want to be around men, period. I'm just done with the guys. I really was at this point. This was January of 81. Then when I got home, my sister said, oh my God.
I called a few times.
Yeah. She said, oh my God, Mark called and I talked to him. He's so nice.
I wanted to, in my mind, I was thinking, Dee's still available. I'm available. And we never finished what we started a little bit. So I was on the phone, and these are her exact words. Finally, after a few tries, she gets on the call. Now, I'm pretty persuasive, Ariel. You don't know me.
Oh, he is.
But I'm very persuasive.
I can see how you're pretty persuasive. I mean, you definitely got some, like I keep saying, swagger. I mean, you were like this charmer and this,
I got her on the phone, and I started to talk to her, and she was like, Mark, I'm in a serious relationship. I don't want to get involved right now, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, look, Dee, all I'm saying is, let's just meet somewhere just one time. But she was resistant, but she finally agreed to it. And this is a very important part of our story because we agreed to meet at Fridays on Newbury Street in Boston. We both knew where it was, and I think we had been there before. And so we said, I'll meet you at Fridays. And this is a great part of the story. And so I'm driving, trying to find a parking space. I'm on Newbury Street, and she doesn't see me. And I see her walking down the street. And I saw her again, that same like feeling that I had that day I saw her through the window. I said, this time I'm going to marry her. That's what I said. in my mind, I said, this time I'm gonna marry her. She looked gorgeous. And I was like, I'm not letting her go this time. So anyway, we go into Fridays, I park the car, she is already in the restaurant, and the only thing she's on time for. And
I do show up for happy hour on time.
and we sat down.
I'm always up early.
And
Okay.
game over. Game over.
Yeah, it was.
It was across the table, right back where we left off.
Yeah.
The chemistry was there, even more so, more so. We had had more life experiences, and we went, okay, this is the girl for me.
Yeah.
She always was. And that day we went up to Marlborough, we drank.
We went up to, Marblehead. We drove up to the coast of Marblehead, we went up to Rockport.
Yeah,
And by the time we got to Marblehead at 10 o'clock that night, we decided to get married.
yeah.
We decided to get married.
We were drinking and talking.
We were drunk. We were also
nonstop.
quite drunk.
Yeah.
We were drunk.
That makes it a little easier too. Yeah.
Ariel,
It makes everything
it was
golden.
nonstop from the minute that we met at the
Yeah.
restaurant, talking in the car, driving up to there, going to the bar, nonstop. We just, it was just meant to.
Wait, so did you get married that night?
No,
We
we
could've.
couldn't. We couldn't because his divorce was not, it took another 10 months for his divorce to go through. He was still going through the divorce, the finalization of divorce, the paperwork and all that. So no, he didn't. But during that time, anyway, that happened. And so I was really happy. I was very, very happy about it. And so I remember going back into work thinking, wow, in one night, because right before I met him on Newbury Street, I had just called my other my boyfriend, and I was actually, I'm not ashamed of this, but I decided to go back with him, even though he cheated on me. I was going back with him. And I actually called him and asked permission to meet with Mark. I actually called him and said, I'm going to meet up with this guy I knew in school and blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, what does he do for a living? And I said, well, he's in sales or whatever.
This guy was a doctor.
Well, I know. But he said to me, I'm not worried about him. This is what he said to me. And I thought, you should be worried about him a little bit. You should be worried about this guy. But anyway, I'm
like you guys had like an open relationship in a way. Because it was
right.
I mean, you asked him to go out if you're going to go out with this other guy, and he told you that he was cheating on you with this other woman. I mean, you definitely open communication there.
It was open on his end, not open on my end.
Yeah,
when he came back after the cheating episode, of course she left him and the girl messed him up a little bit. Then he came crawling back, and of course I took him back, and I didn't feel good about it, but I did it anyway. And then I said, oh, I'm going to meet this guy, Mark. I wanted to be upfront with him. I told him we were just meeting for drinks. I said, we're going to go to Fridays. He said, no big deal. Well, that night, it's funny how I'm walking down Newbury thinking, I'll meet Mark for a couple of drinks, and then I'll go over to my boyfriend's apartment after this, right? I'm going to go to his apartment. And it's so different where I'm walking down the street, I meet up with Mark, and that night, 10:30 at night, Mark and I now are a couple and we're getting married. So that's how quickly it can change within the snap of a finger. I'm not kidding you. It happened that quickly. And then I waited a few weeks before I told him that I was actually getting married. I mean, it was kind of a shock to him, but anyway, but I have to say, Mark and I at that point, we dated. We didn't tell anyone how serious we were at the time after that first night.
I was just getting out of the divorce.
He was getting out of his divorce.
The paperwork. I was way out of the relationship, but the paperwork was still in play.
Yeah.
I was getting over that, being upset with all the women in the world.
And I think, I just want to say, I think we dated a little bit after that too. I don't want to sound like we did date. I dated a couple times, he did too. Yeah. Right after that time, I think it was in March or April, Mark had to go on a trip or whatever, and somebody asked me out. I went on the date. I still was doing that, even because we weren't officially getting married. We were going to get married, but I can't explain it, but we were still in this like dating thing. And I don't think we really got, and then all right, a little bit on my side, I was doing it. And then in around June of that year, June of '81, we were definitely a couple at that point, a couple. We were getting married and talking about the future.
Yeah.
Before that, no future, no talk about work or house or anything. prior to that. But then that June, we were definitely a couple. We were everywhere together. We went everywhere together.
Dee had some issues with her family too, not a lot. I mean, Dee is a person that she goes her own way, but she wanted to please everyone.
Well, we didn't get married in the church. That was the thing.
Yeah,
We didn't get married in the church. That was a
not
big,
yet.
that was a big issue for my family. So the wedding wasn't going to be after going back and forth, we're not going to go to the wedding, blah, blah, blah. The wedding day to me was not a big deal. I just wanted at that point, Mark and I, so we got married in July of 82. We bought a place up in Andover, a condominium in Andover, and that was it. We were just going to go on with our lives. I just wanted to get married and go on. I didn't really care about the wedding that much. I didn't. And
I think she gave up on it a little.
I gave up on it, actually. I
because
gave
it
up
was
Too
on it.
much. It sounds like too crazy.
It was,
There was a lot
yeah.
of tension in the family because of the thing. Now, Ariel, if I know what I know now, I would have married her
At the cathedral.
at the cathedral.
By the Pope.
Yeah, by the Pope. I would have. But
No,
I didn't, I come out of the marriage and
I understood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he understood. And
Yeah.
she cut me some slack, but if I knew what I knew now, I would
and
have.
getting married, that marriage thing is very stressful. You're a couple in love. Now you're going to get married, and then the stress starts creeping in.
And
Well, then you have the families that how one person wants it this way.
the
and that
religion,
way.
the
Catholic
religion,
Church
the
was
religion comes in.
Ridiculous.
It does,
They were
and the
ridiculous.
yeah, and the religion comes seeping in. So
Yeah.
we put up the brakes,
Yeah.
and at that point, I just wanted to get married by a justice of the peace, and that's what we did. And we had a very nice wedding, and then we went on. Then we could go on with our lives, and I was happy about that.
So what happened
So-
after that?
So then after that, we did not go on a honeymoon, which I would never, ever
Do.
do that again.
No.
I would tell a couple, I don't care what is on your
Yeah.
agenda, you must go on the honeymoon the night of your reception. Like, don't even go to the
Yeah.
local hotel. Just leave the reception in your wedding gown
Yes.
and leave the family and leave your friends and leave everybody and start as a couple right then and
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Do not
I
put
would
off
agree.
a honeymoon. That's a very bad idea. It's for a reason.
I was working at the time and I
You
was
just
wor-
got your new job. You
I
just
was-
got a new
and
job.
I was, man, you know what? It
He
was-
just got
it
a
was
new
the
position.
Solar energy industry, the tax credits had just been implemented, and it was a hot industry. And I was with a company that was hot in that business, and I was in the curve. I was in that curve, and it was coming at a time when the honeymoon part, not the wedding, but the honeymoon part was coming at a time where the company said to me, Mark, if you don't go on your honeymoon, we need you now. If you don't go on your honeymoon, we'll pay for the whole thing. It'll be,
Which they did,
which they did.
but mistake, still a big
yeah,
mistake. I would tell
because-
anyone I know, anyone that's getting married, I would say, have your reception in the afternoon and leave that night with your gown on,
We
his
did have
tux.
a little mini.
Well, we had a mini vacation down at the Cape,
Yeah.
which was nice.
No, yeah.
We
did.
left the next day and went to the
Actually, I
Cape.
think of that one more than I did.
Yeah,
of
we
the
had
wedding.
2 days at the Cape, which were beautiful, but
anyway,
I would tell a couple to do
yeah,
that.
I agree.
Leave that night in your wedding gown, get on the plane and go somewhere.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't capture that moment again.
No, you don't capture it,
Once-
the honeymoon.
Once you got pregnant right away.
Yeah, I got pregnant right after that.
Oh, I couldn't help myself, Ariel.
Oh, stop.
But,
All right, people will be watching.
No, but I can't.
No, I got pregnant 9 months later,
Yeah.
please. It wasn't
Come on.
that night.
Okay, it wasn't that night.
It was like 9 months
It
later.
was pretty close.
And it was because someone told me to get pregnant, actually.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, hurry up and get pregnant. Anyway,
Okay. So
I just
anyway,
want to
she
You
say,
did, yeah.
I had the
And
baby.
then she couldn't go while she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She didn't want it. Then it got to the end. Now,
Mhm.
did we have a wonderful time? Yes.
Yes.
But it wasn't the same as when we got married. We had
No.
a baby. We had to worry about the baby. Fran took care, of course, my mother-in-law
Yeah.
took care of the baby, so we didn't have to worry. But Dee was a little bit of a mess down below.
All right.
You know, and
All right, I'll just say this. I had the baby, and then I had my son, and 3 months later, he was born in November. So we were leaving at the beginning of February to go to Hawaii. His company is paying for the whole thing. We're going
First
first
class.
class. We're staying at the most expensive hotel in Maui. They're paying for the
doesn't
whole
sound like a
thing
big
for
deal
10
today,
days.
but first class back
10
then was
days.
huge.
10 days at the Maui, whatever it was, the Hyatt Regency. And everything paid for, helicopter rides, everything paid for. So I was excited about it. but I had a little bit of postpartum depression, a little bit. And also I didn't want to leave the baby. I just had the baby. He was like 10 weeks old and he did not nurse. So it was easier for my mother. He wasn't good about.
It's about the wedding Dee.
No, I know. So my mother could take care of him because I wasn't nursing him.
Yeah.
So it was easy for her to take care of him. And so I left him and I was very sad about leaving my son. And I went on the honeymoon and I'm wearing, not what you picture on your honeymoon. I got on a maternity bathing with the skirt, not what I was picturing.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about my hair. Now, I just had a baby. My hair looks.
I didn't care about one funny scene when we were over there was we were in the gift shop, your real big gift shop. And Dee's looking around for stuff and gifts for the family and stuff like that, like she always does. She always remembers everybody. But anyway, she goes in and I'm looking around, I can't find her. And I said to the cashier, I said, did you see a blonde in here? She had on this like blue dress and out like that. She goes, she just went running out of the place. And I looked down on the floor.
There was pee all over the floor.
And I see pee, a trail. I followed the trail outside.
Yeah.
I see her laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah, that was my honeymoon.
Pissing herself.
That was my honeymoon. I should have had a C-section with my son, but I didn't, and it was a forceps delivery. But anyway, after that, I would just pee if someone made me laugh. I was peeing everywhere for like 8 months. For 8 months, and then I'm on my honeymoon, and my husband, if he made me laugh, I would just pee right there. And even if I had peed 5 minutes prior to that. So I'm on the honeymoon. I had on a gray chiffon dress. It was beautiful. We went to a great restaurant that night. I thought I had it under control. And I said to him, let's go. I want to go in the gift shop. And that's what happened.
I remember.
I asked the girl a question and I started peeing right there in front of her. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I ran out and I peed all the way down.
And Ariel, I grew up with, 3 brothers. I was, I don't know what the hell was going on.
Oh,
you know what? Just plug that thing up. What's going on,
right.
Dee?
Yeah. I jumped into a bush, like a holly bush in the parking lot. And I kept peeing in there. And I said to Mark, this is not what I pictured. I remember telling you as my honeymoon.
To add to that.
Yeah. Now what are you going to tell her I did?
No.
I had a few incidents.
No, it's not you.
I had a few incidents.
We go. We're on horseback riding.
Oh yeah,
She's
the
not
horseback
rider.
Especially with my situation.
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking about that. I thought it would be cool. We were up in the mountains. The guy tells us about a luau. You got to go to the luau. It's great, fantastic. You got to go. So I say, okay, Dee, let's go to the luau. So we get all dressed up and we go. Right away, we knew there was an issue with this luau because it was kind of in a seedy
It was
area,
very, very sketchy.
And it was sketchy. And Dee picks up on that right away. And I'm like, I'm hungry. First of all, I'm starving.
Well, I picked up on it because the chefs all had cigarettes in their mouths.
Yeah, that kind of
thing. And they were smoking it. I said, what kind of chefs?
It was nasty kind of thing.
They had cigarettes hanging out of them.
I'm starving, Ariel. I got to get something to eat. So anyway, we go over. I pick up all the stuff like the buffet. I put the chicken in my plate. And I'm eating it. Dee's across the table. And she goes, she goes, how's the chicken? I went, it's okay. It's good. And she goes, I never seen chicken that small before.
It was like a squab or a pigeon.
Something like that. So I didn't care. I was eating the thing. They were rushing me to the hospital 3 hours later.
Yeah, he had such horrible food poisoning.
I had food poisoning. Oh my God. I was in the hospital for 2 days.
Yeah. So that was the rest of our honeymoon. And I was so angry with him because I told him not to eat the food at the luau. I said, Mark, I'm not eating a thing. I know we paid like $50 each, but I'm not eating this.
She didn't.
And I didn't touch it. He ate it. He was like chowing down anyway. And so for the next couple of days in the hospital, and then
I've never been.
I had plans.
Sickness before.
I wanted to.
Was, like in a hospital, dehydrated.
Oh, so sick.
My head was spinning.
I had zero sympathy.
It was bad.
Zero sympathy.
There were a bunch of people at the hospital that were with me from the luau.
They were all luau sick. But I made him go on a trip 2 days later. When he left the hospital, I said, we're going up to the mountain. I told him, I said, I want to go here and you're going with me. The road to Haina, or whatever it's called, it's called. I said, we're going there. And I drove and I was stopping, he would vomit and then I would keep driving. And I said, and then we would drive some more, and then he would vomit some more.
But the road
But we
was
got
blocked.
there.
I thought the road was blocked.
Yeah, it was blocked at one point, so we turned around. But I was determined to go there on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
But after that, he felt pretty good.
And
So that
then-
was the end of that.
And then, you know.
And then we
pretty
went
much-
back to our life.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been married for now?
This year, 39.
39 years.
Yeah, 39. We've traveled a lot with the kid, and then we had 3 children.
Yeah.
And we've traveled.
And that was the next 20, 25 years
Yeah.
was the children.
Yeah, and then we moved to North Carolina, and we're into the
The
kids.
children consume your life, you know?
They
So
did
what's,
consume it.
so what's one of your favorite thing that you love about each other?
I'll tell you what I love about Mark. Oh, no, I'll tell you what I love about him. I am a very compulsive, impulsive person, and he knows it. When somebody tells me to do something or I have to do something, I do it like in the next minute.
Yeah.
Like I'm already on it. That's how I am. I don't like to have anything in my head. I don't like to think about anything. I don't like to have a list of things to do. I have to just do them.
Just get it done. Yeah.
I get it done. Even if it's wrong, I do it. Even if it's wrong. And I make a lot of bozo mistakes. He doesn't do that. When we have issues and we have to do something, I'll say, okay, I have to get on it right now. And Mark doesn't. He'll go, Dee, calm down. I'm going to think about this. And that's what I love about him. He will grab me and say, we're not going to do it. We're going to sleep on it. We're going to sleep on it. We're going to do it tomorrow or next week, or we're going to look into it. And I will.
I think Ariel was thinking more love type.
Oh, love stuff. All right. Well, that's one
Let me-
personality trait of his.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What I
but
love
that
about
you
Mark-
appreciate about him. Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about him. Mark does take me down to another level. Like he takes me from here and he always takes me down here. And that's what I love about him when I'm in a situation. I do love that about him.
I would say with Dee, first of all, as you probably already know, and your mother definitely
Yeah.
knows, Dee's an amazing person. I mean, she is. I hit the jackpot. I'll give myself credit because I knew it when I saw it, and I'm decisive in that way. And I probably the best thing in my life I ever did.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest.
No, it's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. The two of us, I always think I always think to myself, well, when I talk to my single people or my daughter or whatever, I always say, well, you can get married to someone and you'll have a good marriage with that person, but it might not be as great as you'd have with someone else. But it still would be good and fruitful in your life. But with Mark, I always think if I hadn't met Mark, if I had married someone else, where would I be today? I always think that. I really do.
No, me
think that
too,
with him.
me too.
I thought, who would,
I feel
first of all,
I feel
put
like
up-
oh, anybody
who
could
would
live.
put up-
Anybody could live with Dee.
no,
Anybody
no,
could
I
live
know,
with Dee.
but
Dee is an amazing
Mm.
person, her personality,
Mm.
and she's family oriented. I love
Yeah,
that
so are you.
about her. She loves her family. She loves her children. It's all about the children. She loves
Mm-hmm.
her grandchildren. And every moment, I'm not going to say every moment, but close to it,
Mm.
is spent on thinking about what she can do for them. And she is sacrificed for the family, for us, and for the children. These are like qualities in a person that, but you know, you don't know that at the time, right? I
But
was,
there was just some sort of energy between the two of you guys right away. I mean, from the moment that
Yes,
you
it
guys saw
was.
each other from that window.
she
I
makes me
mean-
a better person. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's a fact. I know people say that, but she makes me a better person in that. And
No, it's
I
wonderful.
would say the same. Mark does that for me. We do have that energy between us, even when we fight.
yeah.
Even when we have a fight. We had a big fight last night, actually.
Oh,
It wasn't a big fight, but it was like I said something, it was a misunderstanding.
Mhm.
And we were outside, it was 110 degrees out. And we were outside. He didn't want to go where we were going. And I said something. I was a little bit angry, and I said something, and then he took it the wrong way. So we both got into like all right, we're not going, one of those.
Yeah.
Neither one were going. And he came marching back into the apartment. He turns on the TV. I went into my bedroom and shut the door. Like I was so angry. But that's the kind of thing that we have.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that we have.
We don't
And
hold it.
I don't
time
hold
period.
it. I didn't
right
hold
after
it.
we went to bed. we woke
Well, when
up.
he went to bed, I did pretend I was sleeping when
I
he
didn't
came
know
into
that.
bed. I was doing a pretty good job of like my breathing and stuff. I snore at night, but I couldn't get
I
that.
guess-
Last night, I thought, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm so angry with him. And he came into bed and I thought, I have to pretend I'm sleeping. And I usually snore, but I couldn't get it going. I was like breathing hard, and I was like really still in the bed and I was
She had me
uncomfortable.
fooled, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and I
That's
said,
for
oh,
sure.
he thinks I'm sleeping, so he's not going to say anything. And then the minute I got up this morning, though, first thing, I go in and I kiss, and it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. We don't hold a grudge or
You
anything.
almost don't even have to like talk about it. You guys just need your space, and then
I
you
didn't
once
want
you
to
get,
talk about
yeah,
it. It
once
was
you get your
such a
space, you guys-
stupid thing. Yeah. It
We
was so
don't talk- We
trivial.
don't really talk about it a lot of times because.
Well, we're
we
not
know
deep people.
They're not, yeah, we're not deep.
We're
people.
not deep, I
No.
have to tell you.
No, those are surface things. that
One
we
thing
just-
I love about Mark and he loves about me, I have to tell you, that I love about it, we're not deep. Like we don't hold
Get into
grudges.
the,
When someone says, what do you mean by that? I'm like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
I don't read between the lines.
Yeah.
Look, you wake up in the morning, it's another day.
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen? Right now, there's a Chinese
And we're
rocket
open-
heading toward us.
and
You
we're
know,
open-
you
we're
just
open
don't even know. You just don't know
We're
what's going to
open
happen.
people too.
Yeah.
We're not people that keep like secrets and this is,
No.
we tend to express ourselves
Yeah.
even with our children, about our
Mhm.
children, our family,
Yeah,
each other. We put it out there and then people kind of respond to it.
right.
And I think that's been something we both enjoyed.
And I think that's why we're able to have our energy, be angry at each other. I think that's why we're able to fight with each other, because we fight, we get it off our chest, it's done.
Yeah.
The slate is clean. Now, I know a lot of couples can't do that, but Mark and I are great at that. I mean,
did that one after 39 years.
no, but I wonder sometimes, like my neighbors, like something will happen, I'll start yelling at him and he'll be yelling at me and I'm thinking, what do our neighbors think? But then 10 minutes later, we're like back to the
See, the
normal
You're
complexity-
game.
laughing, yeah.
I used this story about my son Eric. One time I got him a baseball coach and he was a professional. And I thought it was a big deal. And Eric would go, and Eric was in there playing. But that day he was late coming to the baseball coach, and I was paying him a lot of money. And Eric and I had a big fight in the car on the way over. And I remember saying to him, if you don't want to do it, why the hell are you doing it? And he said to me, because I love you, Dad. Yeah, he said that to me. And I remember pulling the car over and saying to Eric, this has nothing to do with our love for each other. That is sealed. This is just surface stuff. You don't want to go to the coach. I paid for the coach. This is this kind of stuff. This has nothing to do with the relationship we have. And I always remember that. And I think that plays into a little bit with Dee and I, that the rest of it's all fluff and nonsense.
Yeah,
But the deep rooted love
yeah.
is there. When I see her, she knows it. I know it. Like she says to me sometimes, like, okay, I wasn't attentive enough to her.
Yes, I will bring that up, yeah.
She brings it up that I wasn't attentive enough.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you see it in my eyes every day. Why do I need
Well,
to?
I wanted to see it like at that moment or whatever. So I don't let him, I have to tell you, I don't let him, I'm not a nag with him
No.
like that, but I don't let him get away with that either.
Yeah, sure.
You know
You
what I
tell
mean?
it how it is. Yeah. you're
Because
just-
you can take each other for granted and I don't allow it.
One
I
time
don't
One
allow
time
it.
she called me her roommate.
Yeah, I said,
She
you're
goes,
my
"What are you
roommate.
now, my roommate?"
Yeah, because you get dressed up, and this happens in marriages. This happens. You get all dressed up, you get a new outfit on, you're going out. I know this happens with everyone. I know. You're going out and I'm dressed, and I say to my husband, hey, you look great in that. And I mean it. I'm not saying it to get a compliment. But I say, oh, that outfit looks great on you. And he says nothing to me. Like he says, okay, let's go. And whatever. And I will like, all right, now I'm thinking, oh, he could give me a compliment right now. I just spent an hour getting ready, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not usually dressed up. And anyway, I will bring it up to him. No, I'll bring it up to him. I'll say, it would have been nice. I was fishing for a compliment a little bit. It would have been nice for you to say I look nice. Now I'm going to have to keep looking in the mirror to see if I look okay or something like that. And then he said, just reinforcement, right? But then Mark will say to me, Dee, I always think you look great. Why do I have to tell you? He doesn't have to tell me every day. He doesn't have to tell me every day. But if we're going out to a wedding or something like that, and I'm in a gown, just say something.
I do, but
Say something. Say, hey, you look great. No, but that's the only time I think that I actually
will like on the ass all the time.
No, the only time I'll correct him.
I kiss her all the time.
That's the only time I will nag Mark, like then. But other than that, I don't. He's a great husband. He's been a great provider. He's been a great husband. We've gone through some very serious financial situations in our marriage, but we always thought
it never mattered.
It didn't matter to us.
It just was, again, it was the fluff. It never really.
Really and truly, where we were in some serious trouble, and it didn't matter to us. We figured we're both working as hard as we can. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. The kids are fine, whatever happens. And
my wife, I needed to be called out a few times. And Dee's the kind that will call you out. She's not going to play games, but she always reinforced me. She was always behind me, 100% had my back, even when sometimes she shouldn't have, but she had it. And I felt like I was that way with her too, when she needed it.
Yeah.
Not as much as I did, but because we were flat broke on, we have some funny
But
stories.
you guys supported each other literally through thick and thin. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, like even somebody once said to me, you should tell your husband to leave it. He had his business. And the person said to me, you've got to tell him, because I was working 2 jobs at the time and Mark was struggling. And she said, you tell Mark to, he should get a real job and quit his business. And I said, I'm behind him 100%, behind him. And then about a week later, it was my birthday and we went to Faneuil Hall in Boston and we got in town, we parked the car and then we went to the ATM. We were going to take $60 out and the ATM said not $60 in your account. So we said, oh, try 40. And there's a long line behind us. So we said, okay, let's try 40. And okay, we can't get 40 out of the account. I said to him, try 20. So boom, the $20 bill shows up. Yes. We were like, we have a $20 bill. We're downtown Boston.
Party.
So we went to a Mexican restaurant. We got a taco and a margarita for $20, enough for a tip for the girl. And we were laughing. Yeah. We were laughing. We said, oh, thank God for the 20. And then I found some change to pay for the parking. Because then I thought, oh God, we got to pay for parking.
But there were so many people, Ariel, and you know this because you know you've been around too.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that breaks the marriage. It doesn't make it stronger. It breaks the marriage. They fight about that purpose when these are the times when you have to be working together and so that was a bond.
And make a fun joke about it and just be excited and everything like that.
Yeah, we still do actually. We still do.
Yeah, we still do.
We still like to joke about it, stuff like that. But it's made us, and we tell our kids the same things. Yeah. We tell them the same things about
the only thing is, Ariel, too, and you'll realize this too in your life, and that you have a good thing when you want your children to have it, like Hannah and Jordan and Eric. We want them to have the same. When Eric was saying, I don't want to get married now, I was thinking, you're missing something, son. You talk like that because being married is an amazing thing. And we have, I'd love all my children to have what we have.
Yes, yeah, I do too.
Awesome.
And I think they do, actually.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today and doing this interview and sharing your love story, which is just so much fun and so like sassy and spicy and like from the very beginning.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you.